Well, we're here.
Hi.
I'm still trying to get used to to this new site. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it
We'll see
goes.
if it works, actually.
Hopefully it works. And then we'll go from there. Regardless, we're here. Welcome, everybody.
I don't even know if anybody's on.
I don't know if
We can't
everybody's
really
on
tell
either.
what's going on.
Well, we can. I just have to figure out how to do it. So that's for just us. There's that. Okay.
But anyways,
What'd you point at? Yeah.
okay, so it's not supposed to be coming on.
No, it is.
Okay,
It just hasn't caught up to your phone yet because you have to
Cool.
restart it.
I just did.
Oh, yeah. Do it again. So, yeah, here we are. We're going to see how this works. We don't know. It's different. So, see? There you go.
Perfect.
Turn your volume up. See if we can hear us, which I'm sure we can. Can I have your phone? So we're just going to keep talking really quick. Oh, yeah, because
Randy
you have your...
is. Anyways, we're trying to figure out this new service and not actually sure if anyone can hear us or not. But we're here. We're ready to do the things.
Maybe. Okay. Think we're there. Sorry, everybody. Quick technical check.
Anyways, hopefully you guys have been having a great day. It's a beautiful day outside right now. It's supposed to be like in the 80s, I think, and I am very excited about that.
We have volume. Okay. Which is great. Sorry.
That's all we had to know.
Okay, we got volume. Thank you. It's hard to see like who's watching, and we're trying to figure out if this is like because there's a chat and see where you guys comment and all of that, and so I can't see if anybody's watching. So, anyways, it's all this crap trying to figure out if and everything works, if everything was set up. So it's set up. We're great.
Let's move on.
Let's welcome everybody.
Yeah.
Talking Reps. This is season 4, episode 6. June episode. So I thought last month we focused a lot on women's health and dove in a lot about perimenopause and menopause and how to navigate, not how to navigate, but to work towards navigating it better. I am not an expert in it, nor is Chas, but I am trying to become more knowledgeable in it because of Chas.
And I'm trying to be more knowledgeable of stuff that's going on with my body.
Yep.
So
we
that we can help more people.
Yep. So we spent June talking a lot about women's health. May talking a lot about women's health. And June, I thought it would be fun to dive into men's health and start talking about that. So last week we talked a little bit. I don't even remember what happened. I have no idea what happened yesterday. So I don't even know what we talked about last week. But anyways, this week with men's health, we're going to talk about that. There's a lot of topics, and if you Google like men's health or look on social media men's health, it always says things like, "Oh, men's health is broken," or "There's no such thing as men's health," or basically you don't need to talk about men's health because no one cares. Well, that's bullshit because half of the population cares because half of us are men. And so, or you know a man, or you care about a man, or you have men in your life that you love. So even if you aren't, this information can still help. Just like last month, how the women's health, even though I'm not a woman, I have multiple in my life that I love and care for. So I want to learn and grow as much as I can to help support her and them in their journeys as they get older, as they age like
That's
fine
super
wine.
fun. I don't know about that, but it's very fun. But it is, I think kind of things have changed with women's health and men's health and back and forth of like, this is important, this is important, this is more important than this one is important. But there's not been a lot of studies with women. And I think that that's part of it, why it kind of has been so, I out in the world, or I don't know what's the right word, but been talking about it a lot more, because there really isn't ever been any studies on women or anything like that. It's always been on men, and then they just change things a little bit for women. So I think that's one of the things that's really been kind of put out recently or in the last few years, and kind of diminished men's health because of that. And that's unfortunate, because men do deal with certain things as well. There's just a little bit more studies with them as well, but a lot of times they don't realize what's going on with themselves, and they just need to suck it up.
Yeah, or I was going to say that exact same thing. Or they do realize something's going on, but everybody in their life, everybody that had played a pivotal role in them growing up has told them that you just got to tough it out, put dirt on it, suck it up. No one cares. There's no crying, which I still believe in. Um, but it's changing the stigma that men aren't allowed to have problems. That if you have a problem, that all that is a sign of weakness. And if you have problems, then you're weak. And I wouldn't say that focusing on men's health or allowing yourself to focus on yourself is a sign of weakness. I would say that by not doing that, it's a sign of being broken and giving up. Yes, you might feel like, well, I'm not giving up because I'm grinding myself into the pavement. I'm doing everything I can to work for my family and provide and support and all that. And I'm on the back burner because I don't really care, because as long as they're being whatever, their needs are being met and I'm fulfilling that need for them, then I don't have room to complain because I just need to keep grinding. And again, that's flawed and old, antiquated way of thinking, and it's broken. It's causing you to be broken. So we thought we would talk a little bit today about stopping that culture of silence and doing what we can to give people an area to speak freely about, how they're feeling and things that they can do to feel better, or areas that they need help in. And one of those, a lot of it is normalize, like I said, grinding yourself to death, or normalizing poor habits, not focusing on nutrition, just eating whatever's out there. Like me, when I work in construction, whatever was in a long time ago, 30 years ago, when I first started working, was whatever I could get at 7-Eleven was considered nutrition. Or the alcohol that I was drinking the night before, that was going to carry me through the morning. And then I'd stop and get like a sub sandwich or something and only eat that during the day, because I didn't have time to eat because I had 12 hours of work I had to do, and then come home and take care of my son and blah, 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 blah. It was all just making excuses. And then on top of that, throwing like, all I need is coffee. I just need 60 ounces. Literally, I used to work with this guy, Brian. Tangent, side story. I worked with this guy, Brian. He was 7 feet tall. No joke. Like legitimately 7 feet tall. And I would always ask, like, make fun of him, like when he was going to play for the Blazers. But he was a huge nerd. He was
So he wasn't going to ever play for the Blazers.
I'll say this next sentence and you'll realize why. No offense to D&D players, but he
Oh, he's a
loved Dungeons and
master.
Dragons.
Oh my gosh, he could have
So-
been on the sheriff's department.
Yeah, so he's like,
They
I'm not
love-
going to be in the Blazers. I love D&D. I played blah, blah, blah. And anyways, it was just a joke between us. I would make fun of him for not playing on the Blazers, and he would make fun of himself for being D&D. But he would drink 3 60-ounce mugs of coffee. He had this tumbler that was a 60-ounce tumbler with a handle on it.
Dang.
And
he's
he would just
hardcore.
3 of those. And that's all he would do. And smoke. He would smoke and drink coffee.
Hardcore.
But honestly, like my dad grew up doing that. My dad grew up just drinking coffee, and that was the only. I love coffee, don't get me wrong. But coffee is not nutrition.
It's delicious.
It's delicious, but it is not what you need to do, or what will make you more healthy. Like, it's a great drug.
Is that?
It's a great stimulant. It's a great drug. It's better than the drugs that I used to take.
Yes.
I love coffee and I'll never give it up. But I don't drink it because it keeps me healthy, right? So normalizing poor health is just one of the old stigmas that we grew up with our grandparents and our parents telling us that we don't need to worry about eating healthy. Like I hate salads. But when I eat them, I'm like, these are really good. Like we bought a salad the other day from CI Lifestyles. I bought the salad for lunch and it was delicious.
He used to like complain all the time. Like
I still
salad
do.
Is
I'll
not,
still do it.
Salad is not dinner.
It's
Salad
not.
is not a meal.
It's not.
Like he would be so pissed if I was saying that we were
Yeah.
having like chicken Caesar salad for dinner.
What did we have for
something
dinner
like
the
that.
other
That's
night?
what we had on Tuesday. It was so delicious. But anyways, that's what we had on Tuesday. But he used to be so mad every time that that would be
Or soup.
the dinner. Yeah, soup. He's still on
I
that
still-
one.
yeah,
I still
soup,
can't
no.
do.
No.
We can't do soup.
Now you stick a
as a
hearty
meal.
stew in front of me, I will massacre that hearty stew. And like a good potato roll, done for.
Yeah, but we can't have soup.
No.
If I say it's not soup, even
you
though
say
if it
stew?
is, yeah, I just call everything, regardless if it truly is a soup, I'll just call it stew. And I'll be like, we're having chicken noodle stew.
And I'm all in for it.
Yeah.
And I would love chicken noodle stew. And that's great. But finding ways to get out of that mindset of, I don't need to worry about what I eat because I work hard. I do construction. I exercise. No, you don't exercise. Unless I see your ass in the gym, you're not exercising. You're just working, and your body's acclimated to that work. Throw on top of that terrible nutrition, and you're literally just grinding and digging yourself a grave. You're still accomplishing things, and you're doing what you need to do to make your family whole, but you're sacrificing yourself to do that. And there's ways to do it to where you can thrive while doing that. And it's not difficult. It's not difficult. It's not fancy.
And I think parents just do that, not just men or women. Like it is just, I think.
But we're talking about men.
We are talking about men right now. But it's just like parents. They give everything that they have for their kids, their family, and all of that on just different sides of that. But like you had said, it's kind of you've been taught.
It's been normalized for
Yeah,
so long.
as you were little, growing up, that this is how men work. This is what you do to be a man. This is what men do.
Act like a man.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's a thing. So,
And what that tends to lead to, one is failure. If you continue to grind yourself into oblivion and just work yourself to the bone, don't take care of yourself, don't prioritize your own health and wellness because there's no time for it, then it leads to failure. It can lead to resentment. It can lead to injury. It can lead to disease, but it can also lead to burnout. Resentment and burnout are two ingredients to a perfect storm that can ruin any relationship. And it's almost no fault of your wife or your husband. It's just because you have decided that I need to, again, I'm going to continue to say it, grind yourself into the ground because that's what you're supposed to do. And then you end up resenting your loved one because you've humanized that problem into them and you feel like they're the ones causing it even though it's all your fault. And through that resentment just comes pain. And then you throw on top of that not communicating. It's over. It's over. You're done. Done. And that's too bad because all that needed to happen was giving yourself the grace and freedom to take care of your own well-being. Even if it's as simple as having snacks during the day and continuing to give yourself
and talking
fuel.
about it.
Yeah.
Like I think that men don't talk about this, even with other men, let alone their spouses or
What am I supposed to do? Sit
someone.
across from a guy and be like, oh, these are my problems, bro.
I'm just saying, you don't talk it. I think men
I'm
lot of
joking.
times,
I agree with
yeah,
you.
a lot of times don't talk about it to anyone.
No.
And women do, I think, a little bit better job at that.
Or a little bit too much.
Or better.
They do. They do. You do.
But anyways, yeah. It's always the wife's fault. Good job, Thomas. Your relationship is going to go strong. I know that that's going to be really, really good. Oh, man.
But I think along this line, a mindset shift that we can think of is switching from survival mode, just surviving the day, to showing up for yourself instead, which will help you show up for your loved ones. And whatever that means, you get to decide what showing up means for you and your loved ones. But switching from the daily grind or surviving to doing what you can to show up for yourself and the ones that you love. Shifting that mindset, shifting that voice in your head that sounds like your grandpa or your dad, or sometimes even your grandma or your mom telling you to suck it up, telling you to grow up, telling you to, act like a man. Shutting that off and giving yourself the freedom to show up. And in turn, love your family, love your loved ones. That's huge. And it's difficult.
Your
and
health
it's
is
not easy.
important. And it will help everybody feel better, not just yourself. And all the people around you, not just relationships.
Yeah.
Coworkers, friends, everyone.
Yep. So I thought we would then, I Google searched these. I'm not going to lie. But.
AI?
No, not AI.
Oh, no AI.
No. I
actually
Google
searched
searched
it.
these.
This is Randy I.
I had an idea of what I wanted to talk about, and then I just took that idea and then I Google searched some hot topics when it comes to men's health. And
Number one.
Hot take number one. You want to read it?
I'm horrible at reading, especially when you put it that close to my eyeballs.
It was literally 3 feet away from her.
It has to
Now
be
it's 4.
got to go over here. Hot take number one. If you are not investing in your health, you are gambling with the future. True.
The way I worded that, the way in my head I worded it,
Was not like that?
no, was not.
Oh.
That was the nice way of saying it. It's if you don't take care of yourself, then you don't give a shit about the people you love. Plain and simple. You don't. And you're selfish.
Yeah.
That's more of a hot take. But when I Googled that, it came up with this friendlier take. Invest in your health so you can love yourself. Yeah, true. But if you aren't, it's because you're selfish and you don't give a shit about the people you love. If you tell your wife you love her, if you tell your husband you love him, if you tell your kids you love them, if you tell your family you love them, but you aren't investing in your personal health, you're lying to their face. So it's time to grow the fuck up and stop lying to the people you love. It's not time to act like a man. It's time to grow up and give yourself the space to take care of yourself. It's hard. It's hard to do that.
It is hard.
Okay, hot take number 2. Take a breath. The gym isn't therapy. It's a mirror. And you can still be jacked and be broken. And this I had a hard time with because the gym in my mind is very much my therapy.
I think for a lot of people, not just you.
Yeah.
I mean, it is, people tell us all the time, this is their therapy.
Yep.
If they didn't have this in their life, it would not be good.
And it
They
can be
need
that.
this. Yeah.
It can be that. But if you're not mixing it, or if you're not using it then to take the next step to help yourself a little bit more, if you're just coming into the gym and you're doing what you do at work and just grinding into the ground, into the gym mats, and you're not doing anything else to help, you're still working towards being broken. This can be therapy, but if you don't allow yourself the further space to work with mindset, to work on your nutrition, to work on showing up for your loved ones, all this is just another excuse. It's just work times 2. And we don't want it to be that. It can start as that.
And it might need to.
Yeah, and for
And it
a
might
lot of
need to
people,
do
it
that.
has to start as
Yeah.
that. It started as that for me. And it's still that for me in some ways. But what this then allowed me to do is to take what I've learned inside the gym, to take what I've learned about myself inside the gym, And then it allowed me to use those teachings to do better, to show up better, to be better for my loved ones by continuing to further take care of myself outside of the gym.
And we try, like as we're in the gym, like he said, this might start as your therapy. This is the starting part of that. But we also try to give all of our members information constantly and goal sessions and stuff like that, mindset work, so that we can help with those other things outside of here if people are ready for that.
Yeah. Okay. You want to read the third one?
Hot take
Sorry.
number 3. Yep, thanks. Hot take number 3. Most guys don't need more supplements. They need water and bedtime. Bedtime.
So.
Bedtime. Ugh. Bedtime.
And a bedtime.
It didn't say that. Oh, yeah, maybe
Yes, it
did.
does. So, most things say what it is. Your brain just takes things
Yeah, my
out.
brain does. Yeah, I know that.
So, what this came from was you can't out-train a shitty diet. That's basically what this came from. You can train, but then if you leave here and you go and drink, you get hammered, you get wasted, and you think, well, I'm just going to wake up in the morning and take a bunch of extra creatine, take a bunch of protein, and then go back into the gym and train again. I keep banging the table.
I know.
You're just wasting your efforts. You're spinning your wheels because everything else you're doing is counterproductive to the work you're doing inside the gym. And you're doing it tired, undernutritioned.
Yeah, I like that word.
Undernutritioned.
Yeah, you're not nutrition, you're under the nutrition.
Under the nutrition. You're not malnourished. Well, maybe you are.
I mean, you could be.
You could be, yeah.
You definitely could be.
Actually, honestly, most people probably are malnourished, and which is so funny because we are so fortunate to literally be surrounded by food here.
A lot of it is crap.
A lot of it is crap. You're right. But what I should have said was access to food.
Yes.
And then you throw on top of that just workout session after workout session because I'm getting sweaty, I'm getting swole, I'm getting jacked. You can still look good, but feel like shit. So,
Well, and I think a lot of people also sometimes get into this rut of like, they work hard during the week to be able to eat whatever they want or have a fun weekend, and then they're going to come in on Monday and kill themselves. So it's almost like a punishment now. And I'm just going to grind because I had pizza or I had beer or whatever it is. And that's not a very good mindset around nutrition and food. It just creates the same cycle instead of just eating good food. And if you want to have pizza, good, have pizza. And then
you almost said great. You should have said great. Great, have pizza.
Great, have pizza.
I
What was I saying? I know Randy wants to have pizza so bad. He's been wanting to
Allow
have pizza.
yourself to live your life.
Yeah, have a life, and you don't have to punish yourself coming in here as long as it's not pizza every night, and it's just like this cycle of not good nutrition.
So let's talk about that same thing, but switch it. And instead, I'm a person who comes into the gym and I work my butt off and I go crazy and I go hard every single time. Maybe I do 2-a-days, but what I don't do is then do the hard work outside of that. I don't work on myself. I don't work on my mindset. I don't work on the things I need to with my loved ones. I don't have the conversations I need to with my family or my coworkers or my boss or whoever. I don't have those conversations, and instead I hold them in and I let them fester and create emotional problems or baggage or relational problems or baggage where I could, instead of avoiding that hard work, just like the nutrition, avoiding the nutrition and just giving in, instead of avoiding the hard work, I could have just had those conversations. I'm building myself up to be capable inside this gym every single day, no matter how difficult it is. Today's a really great example of hard work. Today is difficult, and I can do that, and I know I can do that, and I know I can push myself, and I know I can surpass my own expectations on a workout like that. I know that about myself. But all that hard work that I've done to build up that confidence inside of myself when it comes to this What I should now be doing is using that same confidence and building it on things outside of the gym, having better interpersonal skills, having better relationships, having better outcomes at work or at home, whatever. Working on using the tools that I've built in here, using that for outside. And a lot of times we'll come in here and we'll do the hard work just to avoid the work outside of here, the work that we don't want to do, the things that we don't want to face, the conversations we don't want to have. When one conversation can relieve so much stress and pain. Yeah. So, I mean, it's easy to come in here and feel like we're doing everything possible to be healthy or better. It's more difficult to look at the hard work and figure out what we need to do to accomplish that task. To now turn from the mountain we just climbed up to the other mountain and say, now I got to go up there. Now that I know I'm strong enough to be here, now I got to go up there. I'm pointing to a higher mountain. Now I got to take what I learned down here on this little mountain and go up there on that big mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so I thought after those hot takes, I just put out a little challenge to you guys and see, are you training hard or avoiding the hard work? Something to think about, whatever that is for you. Doesn't matter. There's no wrong answers. Yes, no. I don't know what hard work is. Every day is hard work. Are you training hard or are you just working to avoid the hard work? So now I thought we would talk about some personal stuff, and we can dive into me and my history, my journey a little bit. A lot of you know that I was an alcoholic for years. I drank myself into oblivion, probably almost every night. From, man, the first time I got drunk, I was 11. But the first time I really started drinking to the point of blackout, I was probably 13 or 14. And then it just carried on into my 30s, like forever. Not forever, but what felt like forever. It felt like
it was a good stint.
from 13 to 30 felt like 100 years.
13 to 30. It's a movie. Sorry. Okay.
13 going on 30 is the movie, but in that I felt like I lived 3 lifetimes in those years, and a lot of it I don't remember. A lot of it I have no recollection of the things that I did, the time that I did. What I do remember is just being in so much pain all the time and so much anger all the time. And emotional pain, physical pain, just pain. Usually it was pain because I would get in fights a lot. And I'm not a very big person, so I would lose a lot of fights.
But you did like to fight.
But I did enjoy it. And I think it was... For all of you who have not watched the show Shrinking, it's a great show, but it's all about discomfort. But there's this character in there, and he always gets in fights, and that's where he started in this show, where he's always fighting, and he had court order therapy, which I had court order therapy too, and through that he worked through some stuff. But there's a scene where he then like gives into his pain and he goes back out to fight again, but this time he just doesn't do anything and just lets people pummel him until he's in the hospital. I've done that. I've literally done that multiple times. And I was watching it and I feel like that sometimes the only way to get out of pain is just to feel more pain. Like, this is the thinking inside Broken Brains. In order to stop the pain, I have to feel different pain to stop that pain. And so basically just numbing myself. I numbed myself for 17 years. Does that math work? 17 years. It's not a long time. There's people that numb themselves still for their entire life, 80 years. But inside that time, I hurt so many people, and there was so much more pain that I caused than the pain that I thought I was feeling inside. And it was difficult. It was terrible. I caused a lot of pain to my son. There were years that I don't remember of his life. I have no memory of his life when he was young. There was pain, physical and emotional pain that I caused him just by me being who I was. I never hurt him. That sounded like I hurt him physically. I did not. But I caused him a lot of emotional pain because of the physical pain that I was putting myself through. There were times when I was living with my parents and I would leave in the middle of the night when he was there with me, and I would come back in the middle of the night and I would come back just bloody and bruised, blackout drunk. And I would wake up to him screaming, crying because he thought I was dead, because I literally looked like I got hit by a car. And I don't even understand like the pain that that has caused him, or the difficulties that that's caused him growing up and being older. But all that to say, there was so much hurt in my life. It took a long time to get to a point where I gave myself the grace to realize that all of that anger and pain that I held inside, that I blamed on the world, that I blamed on everybody else. I blamed on my ex-wife. I blamed on my parents. I blamed on friends, ex-girlfriends. I blamed on the court system. I blamed it on the police officer that arrested me and threw me in jail. That all of that, I had control over all of that. I had control over all those outcomes, all that pain. That was all things that I was causing myself. And once I realized that, it was like a weighted blanket lifted off of me. It was like a cloud just moved off in the sunshine. And I realized that I have things inside me that can make my life better. I just have to turn them on. And it's taken me years to get to the point where I'm at today, where I'm comfortable talking to people, even talking to Chas, and like having honest conversations about being vulnerable. Because even up until 5 years ago, I was not a vulnerable person. And I thought vulnerability was weakness. It's only been the past couple of years where I realized talking things out and allowing your loved one to understand that it builds strength. It's not a sign of weakness. And it's hard. It's hard for me to still be there right now, to still understand that having these conversations builds strength. It doesn't break it down. Because I was a part of that, like my family, my grandparents. I love my grandparents, don't get me wrong. My grandpas were amazing men. My dad is an amazing man. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying anything negative about them, but I did grow up surrounded by men's men. And although none of them ever said well, if you cry, you're a baby, grow up, you little girl, you wuss. None of them would ever have said that. But just the feeling of inadequacy being around them and growing up with them made me feel that way, even though no one ever told me that. Does that make sense?
Yes, very much so.
And so it was so hard growing up there and just being small, physically and emotionally, just small, because it just felt like I was already in a hole and there was no way to get out of it except pain. And so it took a lot to realize what healthy was for me, and how to change my identity and how to change my mindset centered around myself. And it still takes a lot. It's still hard work. But understanding that I control a lot of that. I control a lot of my environment. I control a lot of how I feel about my environment. I control a lot of how I feel about what other people say, think, and do, because I can't control any of that, so I can control how I react to it. Understanding that has just opened up so much more. What's the opposite of pain?
The opposite of pain?
Happiness? More areas for happiness. I don't think that's the opposite of pain. What's the opposite of pain? Dang.
Not pain.
Not pain. Areas for growth. It's just opened up so more avenues for that in me. So, and I'm trying to use that to help others. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what that is. Right now, it's just having conversations with people that want to have conversations and giving them a space to talk freely. And I feel like even that is just a first step, can be so huge for a lot of people.
I agree.
And it's difficult. It's difficult. And it can be difficult for guys to open up to another guy or anybody. But I'm hoping to give more areas for people to do that. So that was a lot. And it's funny because, like, when you and I got together, I was going through it hard. Like, hard. Not got together, when we first became friends. Going
Yeah.
through, like, sobering up
Yes.
and
Yes.
trying to be better.
Yeah, we had that conversation of you being better and focusing on your son, and that's kind of what you were on that journey.
But not like, but it's,
I didn't realize you were an alcoholic when we first met.
you knew. There was things that
No,
you knew.
there was a couple of red
There were
flags,
some
and I like would
signs.
call friends, and I'm like, "Is this a red flag? He's at the bar right now.
It's
like,
Tuesday.
yeah, this is weird."
One time she asked me, we weren't dating, we weren't kissing, but you asked me, I think we were texting and just kind of flirting a little bit maybe. But you were like, "What are you doing tonight?" And I'm like, "What do you mean, what am I doing tonight? It's Friday."
No, we were like we had left Starbucks. Me,
Oh,
you,
okay,
and Jen.
okay, yeah.
You, as when you were watching, it was before you were bungee jumping. It was like 2
Oh,
days
I was
before
house
that.
sitting
Yeah, you were
for my
house sitting
parents?
your parents.
Yeah.
Anyways, I was with my friend Jen, and it was Friday, and I had asked him what he was doing, and he's like, "It's Friday.
What do you mean?
I'm going to the bar." And I'm like,
Getting hammered.
"What do you mean? Why are you
what
saying
are
it
you
like
doing?
that? Why are
What-
you even saying it like that?"
What are you doing? It's
I'm
Friday.
gonna
What
go
do
to
you
Jen, and she's gonna cut my hair.
mean? There
I
were
don't
some
know.
red flags,
So, anyways,
but not terrible red flags.
no, there wasn't.
Like, I never showed up with bloody lip or
No, I never saw
black
you.
eye.
I never saw you fighting,
No.
or even close getting into a fight.
No.
Except for out here in front of the gym, and everyone saw that. So that was the first time that I ever saw that.
That was the last time
And
I punched
everyone
someone in the
else.
face.
Yeah.
That was a fun day. Yeah, so
Story for another time.
that's a story for another time. Um, anyways, so let's talk about change. I talked a little bit about it, like me, and more about like the darkness and stuff like that, but things that I wanted to talk about as far as what real change can look like. And this is more pertaining to me, but in conversations that I've had over the years with other people that have also walked this journey, this path that I've walked, some of those, some of the things that they've done for real lasting change. And one of them is there's no hack, there's no quick, easy to long lasting change. Other than just doing the work and whatever that work is for you. Maybe it's not drinking. Maybe it's not getting high. Maybe it's not avoiding conversations. Maybe it's coming in and getting 3 workouts a week instead of 2. Whatever it is, there's no easy way for change. And it's just about creating habits. That's the one thing that I've found in a bunch of different scenarios that creates long-lasting change, is just creating habits. And then it just turns into normal everyday life.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to be healthy, is creating the habits and not trying to create all the habits at one time. I think that's also what a lot of people do, is try to do all the things at one time. Mm-hmm. But I also think that for men, since we're talking about men's health, is to pay attention to your body and how you're feeling. I think a lot of men just don't do that.
Right.
I think women do that a little bit more, but men, I don't feel like they pay attention to what's going on to their body, how that they're feeling, whether they're lack energy or whatever it is, what could be causing those problems. It's not just, usually one thing, especially depending on your age.
Yep, for sure. And that reminds me, so I had 4 bullet points, but you did a great job talking about that, and I would just want to expand on that, because I believe, and I feel, this is where my change came from, that acknowledging change starts with awareness and then taking action. So what I mean by that is it was me realizing that I controlled everything that happens in my life. No one else has control. No one else has power over me except you, except Joss. No one else except Joss. But even then, like no one else control. I control if you aggravate me.
Yes.
I do not get to control what you say, do, or think, but I control how I react to that. And I can either choose to be aggravated and annoyed, or I can choose to ask for clarification and have a discussion with you as to why things are happening or why you feel a certain way or why I feel a certain way. I can choose to do that. And 90%, 88% of the time I choose to do that.
I would say most of the time, yes.
Most of the time. 99%.
We'll
Sometimes
say
it's just a shitty day and I'm like just aggravated. um, but acknowledging that change comes from awareness. Whatever that awareness is, whatever the thing is that you need to be aware of, change can only come from accepting those things. Whether it's we have a problem. Hey, I do have a drinking problem. Yep, I do. If I can't go one day without drinking, if I can't drink after a terrible conversation, if I can't drink after hanging out with this person, if I have to drink to have fun, anything like getting high, that's a really big one right now because it's been normalized so much. I don't care how you feel. I don't care what you feel about it. It's literally poison, just like alcohol. You can choose to partake, and that's totally fine. That makes you a regular person. There's nothing wrong with that. But what I have a hard time with is when people continue to blame things and then say they have to go home and take a gummy or just get high just to feel normal, just to regulate. You don't have to do that. You're choosing to do that and you're coping with that. Choosing to not do that and dealing with the things that cause the stress or anxiety, there is where real change comes in. I heard this quote today that the cure to anxiety is action, not inaction, not running from things that make you anxious. Maybe not necessarily running into them head first, but taking action on those things will help relieve anxiety. I believe that 100%. So acknowledging that change starts with awareness. So if we're getting close on time. This ran long.
That's all right.
Good. So
it's important.
It is important. And really quick, so all my emails this week, even to those that send our emails to spam, don't send them to spam. It's all going to be, like last month was all about women's health. This month's all about men's health, male health. Read your emails. They're good. They got some little tidbits, some information, some giveaways inside there. But 3 things that I wanted to end this with, 3 things that you guys can do today to take action, to work on feeling better or work on becoming aware of the things that make you feel not better. Thing number 1, set up a goal setting session with me.
Yes. He's very, very good at them.
At the very least, it's just a place to talk. And every goal setting session will come up with some tangible things to take away, some things to do, some things to track, maybe some new habits to create, maybe just reinforcing habits that you already have. Some of you do a really good job of the habits that you have. And maybe this is just an area to talk. It doesn't even have to all be fitness related. It can be anything. But set up a goal setting session, and again, it's free. We'll sit down and talk. We'll set up a 3-month follow-up, and then we'll have that session, and then we'll go from there. Maybe that's all you need. Maybe we set up some mindset personal training after that. Who knows? It's up to you. It's wherever the conversation goes and depending on what you need. But setting that up. And then number 2, again, just joining in on the conversation. Read your emails. Reply to it. Reply to our social media posts. Come talk to us in the gym.
Yeah.
Easy. And then a third thing is with regards to our nutrition program, we have 4 pillars of nutrition. We have fueling, training, recovery, and growing. Take away from this conversation one of those 4 areas that you can just work on this week, this month. If it's fueling, if it's training, if it's giving yourself time to recover, or if it's taking all those and just deciding to grow, just to give yourself an opportunity to move forward. Maybe it's growing past difficulties or stress or anxiety, growing into a place of action or acceptance. Choosing one of those pillars to work on this month.
I also think it's important to, I know that Randy's gone and done his blood work. I just had mine as well. But to be on top of your blood work, know where you are at on those things. I think it's very, very, very important to do that, because a lot of times you don't realize some of those things are stuff that's going into your body that you can work on, or that you can have better, which can help everything. But if you don't really know what's going on with inside of you, then you're kind of like just shooting in the dark. Is that the right
Shooting
word?
blanks.
Maybe that's not the right word.
Yeah.
But it's important.
Yeah,
It's
shooting in the
important.
dark.
Getting your blood work done.
Yeah.
Do it. Figure out what's going on with yourself.
Yep.
Brandy and I both do that yearly and see what's going on. I just had mine done. He did his 3 months ago or so.
And my testosterone was low.
So's mine.
Yours is non-existent, which is not good.
I thought that it was like, when I was talking to the doctor, she said, wow. Oh, wow. And I thought that was a good wow.
You're like,
It
yeah.
was not a good wow.
Yeah, you're damn right.
It was not a good wow. It was the opposite wow. But
But
anyways.
it's all information, and information gives you a window into how you're actually feeling, how you're actually doing, what your diet and exercise is doing for you, beneficially or not. And it's, like I said, it's just information. It's great information to have. Something you can go and talk to your doctor about. You can talk, if you're comfortable, with us. We're not doctors, but if you just need to talk, we're here for you. So, final words of encouragement. Go get 'em, slugger.
Did that do that for you guys?
Yeah, it did.
Was that it?
It did.
Is that how that goes? Oh my gosh.
Hot take number 4. Real men care about their health and well-being.
Yes.
Hot take number 4. Give
Yeah.
yourself the grace to care about yourself. Because if you can't lead yourself, then you're only going to fall behind everybody else you love. And for me, I want to be healthy enough and able enough to what?
Thomas, it worked for him.
Oh, good. I want to be healthy enough to lead, to care for her and my kids and my family and my grandson. And I can't do that if I don't lead myself first.
That is very, very true.
So really quick, I forgot 2 things. I forgot to mention that we're going to take a quick break and then we're going to come back and do Committed Club. Because I forgot to do the Committed Club stuff. God. So we're just going to take a quick break and then we're going to go to our Facebook page. So if you were on lunch, Thomas, and if you need to just go and tell your boss, like, hey,
I have to go to the bathroom.
I got to go to the bathroom, and just go sit on the toilet with your phone and just go straight to our group page, CrossFit 346 Grit on Facebook. That is where I'm going to do our Committed Club in, if you give me 10 minutes.
We'll start at 1.
At 1 o'clock on the Facebook group page, we will do our Committed Club drawing. I apologize.
Thomas really doesn't want us to do Committed Club because he wants to keep the golden barbell. So he's like, no, that's fine, bro. Like, take your time.
Yeah.
Like, it's awesome. We don't have to.
Yeah,
LOL. Do it next month. Yeah, Thomas doesn't really want that to happen. He's gotten some PRs here with that golden barbell.
Yeah. So thank you everybody for showing up. Thank you for being part of the conversation. Now take this information, do what you want with it, but show up for yourself. Show up for yourself so you can show up for your family, your loved ones, whoever you have in your life that you need to show up for. Start showing up for them by showing up for yourself.
I agree.
Okay, next month we'll talk to you guys first Thursday of July. Maybe we'll talk, I don't know what we'll talk about. Maybe we'll talk about something else. I don't know. We'll think about it. If you guys have comments, let us know in the gym.
Yeah, let us know what you guys want us to talk about next month in July. Things that you are struggling or would be
or where you feel successful at.
Yeah, benefit
Others.
You.
Yeah,
Others.
that was hard.
I know. I just stopped because I couldn't remember what to say next. So, would benefit you in your life.
Yep. Or areas that you're successful that might benefit others. So let's talk about that. All right, you guys.
See ya in our other group. Bye.
Thank
Mwah.
you very much.
Maybe.
Maybe.